In the quiet hour before dawn, the forest stretched awake, veiled by the soft embrace of twilight. From somewhere in the distance came the first melody, a call so pure it seemed to split the sky open. It was the lark. Her golden notes soared effortlessly, unraveling the silence like the first stroke of a paintbrush on a canvas. Above the canopy, the sun kissed the higher treetops, and the world began to stir. The lark was answered quickly by the melodic warble of the thrush, a sound that wove through the forest floor, past mossy roots and dew-spattered spiderwebs. The morning symphony had begun. High in a cedar tree, a peregrine falcon stretched its sleek wings, polished in shades of slate grey and cream. It watched the field below with piercing eyes, ready for its swift dance in the air, where its speed would outstrip even the wind. Not far from it, a kestrel hovered in place, its feathers glistening like copper when caught in the rising sun's rays. In the cool stillness of the marshland nearby, herons stood like statues in the reeds. These tall, graceful birds, blue herons and white egrets alike, balanced on their long spindle-like legs, waiting serenely for the perfect moment to snatch breakfast from the shimmering waters. Tiny grebes paddled among the lily pads, their small rotund bodies breaking the water like little ships. A sudden burst of colour erupted through the air, as a flash of emerald and gold darted over the water. It was the kingfisher, the master fisherman of the bird kingdom, its sharp beak piercing the surface and emerging seconds later with its glittering prize, a struggling silver fish that reflected the morning sun. In the meadow, a flock of jays chattered busily. Their blue wings flickered as they hopped from branch to branch, boldly announcing themselves with harsh cries. Sharing the space were sparrows, humble and unassuming, whose streaked brown feathers blended into the earthy colours of the fields, yet whose persistent chirping was indispensable to the morning chorus. Together, they filled the meadow with sound, each note contributing to the symphony of the morning. Deep in the tropical part of the forest, the vibrant paradise came alive. The air was thick with colours, reds, yellows, greens, blues, moved along by the tireless wings of parrots and macaws. Scarlet ibis waded through shallow pools, as toucans perched overhead, their enormous yellow and black beaks a striking silhouette against the leafy backdrop. Somewhere between the towering trees, the call of a lyrebird mimicked the sounds of water dripping and branches rustling, adding its own twist to the symphony. Not to be outdone, the grasslands hosted their own avian pageant. Ostriches roamed there, flightless but magnificent, their powerful legs making them lords of the plains. Elegantly trailing behind them, secretary birds strutted through the tall grass, their long legs and crested heads giving them an almost aristocratic air. Perched high on a gnarled outcrop was the martial eagle, its feathers dark and imposing against the horizon, surveying the savanna below for a sign of movement. From time to time, a flash of fire-coloured wings streaked across, marking the presence of bee-eaters. These delicate birds darted and swirled through the skies, snatching insects mid-flight. And in the heart of the grassy fields, little quails scuttled low, their plump shapes hurrying from one bush to the next, with tiny, quick steps. On the edge of the forest where it met the barren cliffs, seabirds had claimed dominion. Gull colonies crowded the rocky shores, fighting over scraps and screeching endlessly as waves crashed below them. Yet among them also were puffins, comically charming in their tuxedo-like feathers and brightly painted beaks, darting into sea burrows. Above, albatrosses drifted on wings as wide as a mid-sized car, slow and unwavering as they sailed through the salt-sprayed breeze. The expansive ocean shimmered beyond, home to the mysteries of another bird, the wandering petrel, which spent entire months flying over the untamed waters, its endurance unmatched. These were the voyagers, birds carried by their ties to both the air and the sea. Meanwhile, back in the forest, mysteries of the night still lingered. Some nocturnal birds, like the owl, retreated to their nests hidden among the knotted old oaks. Barn owls, with their ghost-like white faces, blinked cautiously in the fading dark, their silent wings battling twilight as they returned from the hunt. Tawny owls, on the other hand, seemed more reluctant to leave their eerie perch. In suburban areas, the ubiquitous crow cawed from a nearby rooftop. Its sleek, black feathers gleamed in the morning sun, while sparrows frantically searched for leftover scraps of bread in backyards. Occasionally, a magpie might dash in, its black and white plumage flashing as it sought treasures both edible and otherwise. Above, swallows and swifts folded and unfolded their wings as they performed aerial acrobatics in pursuit of invisible prey. They barely stopped to rest, darting so swiftly that occasionally they looked less like birds and more like fleeting shadows. And then, towering above them all, was the eagle, regal and commanding. Golden eagles, symbols of majesty, circled over mountain ranges where cold winds swept between jagged peaks. Bald eagles, with their striking white heads, perched near rivers rich with salmon. By noon, the buzzards had taken their place in the skies, riding the thermals with dizzying ease. Their watchful eyes scanned the fields below, where pheasants scattered among bushes, their feathered tails trailing behind them like royal robes. As the day wore on and the world slowed down, flocks of doves took to the air. Their cooing was soft and calming, matching the gentle hues of the evening sky. Among them danced the bold, fiery form of the crimson rosella, its vibrant red and blue plumage, a final reminder that the world of birds is a realm of unparalleled beauty. In the distance, silhouetted against the setting sun, flamingos curved their necks elegantly, their pink reflections mirrored on the surface of a tranquil lagoon. While some birds prepared to sleep, others, the nightjar and whip-poor-will, stirred to life, their eerie calls beginning to replace the day's songs. And as the colours of the horizon faded to indigo, it was not silence but a different kind of music that rose. The wings of owls, bats, and nightingales filled the purple skies, keeping the rhythm of life alive even when the world slept. Every bird, from the tiniest wren to the boldest eagle, has its place. Every wingbeat matters. This world belongs to them as much as it belongs to us. And perhaps, as we hear their songs and watch them fly, they remind us that freedom and grace are gifts meant to be shared. And so, the story continues in 1,000 skies and countless songs, an unending ode to the feathered wonders that roam this earth.